read that, please? Okay. Now that you've read that, I'm going to explain the rest of that article, and then I'm going to ask my own question about estrangement from your parents. So, the article goes on to say that there are theories that child estrangement has increased because they believe that there's a new style of gentle parenting born from the generation of boomers' children, i.e. millennials, right? And they believe this gentle parenting method has made it so that whenever a child and a parent now disagree, instead of growing up the way boomers and millennials did, where they would disagree all the time, I guess, because they were just meaner to each other, instead, what happens is that they rarely disagree. So therefore, whenever a disagreement happens, it seems bigger and it seems more, you're making a mountain out of a molehill, is essentially what this article is saying to children that are estranging themselves from parents. And I don't know about you, but to me that kind of seems just victim blaming. Maybe I'm woke, maybe I'm just a pussy, I don't know. But that's the exact thing my mom said after we had talked a year after I had estranged myself from her. She said, I wish I beat you more so that you would care less about when I beat you. She thinks that because she didn't beat me very often, the times that she did beat me, I blew it out of proportion. Now she beat me all the time, right? I don't want to say every day, that'd be too much. Maybe every week, maybe at least once a month, something crazy once a month. But no less than once a month, I guarantee you. And these aren't like spanking. She's not bending me over and spanking me. She's smacking me across the face, punching me, doing whatever the fuck she wants, right? These aren't disciplinary beatings. These are angry beatings from a child to a parent, okay? This is not discipline, this is beatings. I just want to make the distinction now. So, I think that's an odd thing to say as a child who has estranged themselves from their own parents, both for different reasons, right? And me personally, I don't want to say never, but I don't think I will ever talk to either of my parents in any meaningful capacity ever again. I think when I adopt children, they're not going to have grandparents on my side. I'm just not comfortable with that. I don't trust them. I've never been actually abused, thankfully, just physically and neglected and all that other stuff. Everything but that, thankfully. So it's not like they'd be secretly Joe Lestering my kids, thankfully. But I still don't want them in my children's lives. I just don't feel very comfortable with that. So for me personally, no, I don't think I'll ever reconnect with my parents ever again. I'm perfectly okay with that. Not really perfectly okay. I really do wish I had a mom and dad. Do I think that's valid of me? Yes. Personally. I have a lifetime of issues I have to work through from my mom and dad, both very different. And it's gonna take me a lifetime. I'll probably be maybe 40 years old, still dealing with these same issues and relationships in my everyday life, and therapy probably, if I ever go to therapy again, every day until I die, right? So I think it's totally fair if I'm just like, hey mom, dad, never gonna talk to you ever again. Now, what about you? If you've estranged yourself from your parents or are planning to, do you think there will ever be a point where you will talk to them ever again in any meaningful capacity? What do I mean by that? I mean a phone call once a week. You'll love your parents enough to schedule a phone call once a week with them. I think my roommate, this dude called his mom a couple times a week. So that's what I mean. I don't think once a year talking to your parents is very meaningful. That's pretty much never. So, what do you think? Will you ever talk to your parents again? Or parent, if you've only estranged one. And how do you feel about that article? I'm going to link it. I want you to read it. Maybe I misinterpreted it, but to me it just sounds kind of victim blamey. And also maybe I'm just a pussy. But, you know, what do you think?